thank you so much for giving us your time. You said that there are 30 girls here.
Yes.
From which countries are they from?
We have girls from the Sudan, we have girls from Zimbabwe, from Malawi, we have girls from West Africa, DRC, and they are all participating in the Day of the African Child tomorrow, which is focusing on ending child marriage, and we are all in Soweto with the girls.
And are all these girls victims of child marriage?
Many of them are either survivors of child marriage, which means they have experienced child marriage and maybe are out of marriage. Others are in marriage now, including like Loveness from Zimbabwe, who has a constitutional court case to ask the Zimbabwean government to harmonize constitutional law and customary law. But others are also girls who were at risk or girls who are at risk. So it's a whole bundle of girls who are at risk and girls who have experienced child marriage, or girls who are also coming from families that has experienced child marriage, like myself, where my mother was married when she was 15. And so I fully understand what it means and what it meant for my mother.
And how old are these girls?
The youngest girl that we have is 13 years old, Linda from Malawi, and she was married when she was 12, and she just had a baby then, and then the men abandoned her. So she's a single mom, she's staying alone with her baby, and she's 14 years old. So it was wonderful to hear the commitment of President Mutharika in terms of his efforts, but also his clear analysis on what are the issues and what needs to happen. But definitely for me, what is very important is that whether it's a 13-year-old or a 17-year-old or an 18-year-old or a 21-year-old because we need to talk about forced marriage, because child marriage is under 18, but forced marriage means you may be over 18, but you're not making a decision. Your parents or your guardian or somebody else is making a decision for you. So forced marriage and child marriage are huge issues that we need to consider together.
And in terms of stats, have you had a high success rate in helping these girls back into the communities and take control of their lives?
I think we're just at the beginning. Just looking at the African campaign was launched last year, and there is huge awareness. There is massive commitment rising. Africa is rising to say no to child marriage. We heard it today. I mean, when you hear the African Union saying it's a crime against humanity, then it's very clear that there is a significant political will, there is significant effort in communities, but we've not yet made a significant dent. I think there's enough policies, there is enough strategies, there is some strategies, but as long as each girl is at risk, and as long as we have countries like Niger, with 74% of all girls are married under 18, that's massive. Or my own country, 30% of all girls are married under the age of 18, that's massive. So for me, as long as we have a single girl being raped, because we are talking about rape, we are talking about abduction, we are talking about trafficking. It's a modern form of slavery. So we really, I think, are just at the beginning of a huge effort to invest in girls, to give girls an opportunity.
How many countries are you in?
The African Union campaign is Pan-African, is for the 54 member states, and there is a targeted focus on 30 countries which have the highest prevalence. Those are the ones which are being targeted for significant support in order for us to accelerate interventions, from Chad, Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali, Cameroon, DRC, Zambia, Malawi, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and Ethiopia. Those are some of the countries that we are focusing. But as you heard Grace speak from South Sudan, where there is no peace, where there is conflict, it means girls are at a much higher risk, because it means people are displaced, they're in refugee camps, they're displaced with their parents, they are raped or abused by the army, the rebels, just the men in the community, and the peacekeepers. And so they are at a much higher level of vulnerability. So we really need to think about communities like in the Eastern Congo, Southern Sudan, Central African Republic, Darfur. All this is very important as we look into the situation situation. So I'm quite worried about what I see happening in Burundi, and I hope that they will stabilize the situation and we'll have peace. So peace is part of the prevention for me. Yes, we need education, change in cultural norms, but we also need a peaceful Africa.